Little Italy was this obscure comedy that just appeared on Netflix as I was scrolling through trying to find something to watch. And I tell you what, it's pretty alright. For just a little comedy that's sort of, it's low budget, and it did its job. And surprisingly, it had a pretty big cast in it, I guess. Like, for the size of the movie, the size and scope of the film, it shouldn't have had such a big name cast, as in, like, it had Emma Roberts. She's not a Z-list actress of any, by any means. Had Hayden Christensen, that's right, Anakin Skywalker himself. And he was actually pretty good in it. And him and her, they were playing full-on Italians. And I bought it. Well, especially him. He had like a slight little, Italian accent, and it was working. It was working for me. It was not a bad film. And it's just very basic little romantic comedy about these two young kids. They grow up in Little Italy, and their family, their dads both co-own a pizza place, so they grow up together. And then fast forward to when they're adults, she's living abroad, and she's like a Michelin class chef in training, and he's just back at home still slaving in his dad's pizza shop. But the dads are now mortal enemies. They hate each other. And then when she comes back home for like a week, her and Hayden Christensen, they reconnect, and their feelings for each other, blossom again, like they were always there the whole time. And they sort of, comedically fall back in love, while at the same time reconnecting their fathers and saving the day. And going back to their Italian roots and figuring out that they love the small town life and all that. And it was nice. It was heartwarming for the most part. It had some funny moments. I was, entertaining myself and the wife, just imagining that it was Anakin Skywalker as an Italian pizza place worker and making stupid, Star Wars related comments. And it was just a fun time all round. It wasn't a serious movie by any means, but it had enough, I guess, a bit of heart here and there that it worked. It was just one of those light-hearted films that sort of, made you feel good as you were watching it, There was, a few moments that were like, felt a bit weird and out of place. Like there was this whole subplot. There was this friend of Hayden Christensen's character, a Chinese guy who was acting like an Italian, and I was finding that quite funny. But then they had made a whole subplot about how he's secretly gay, and it just felt out of place in the movie. I feel like it didn't need that. It almost felt like they threw it in there so that it could be relevant for 2018 or whenever the movie came out, and it felt a bit forced. But that aside, there was a nice romance between the grandfather and the grandmother of the warring families, and I tell you what, it was all right. I didn't even mind Alyssa Milano in it, and she's a bit crazy online, especially with her politics and all that. But she wasn't too bad in the movie. She came across convincingly as a feisty Italian mama. And I tell you what, these movies about Italian restaurants, they make me hungry. My mouth starts watering every time I'm watching them. You see this fresh pizza being made and pasta, and you can just like smell the herbs and taste the cheese and the bloody olive oil. I swear, they film it so nice with the the modern high definition cameras that it looks like an ad for a restaurant pretty much. And yeah, so I don't have too much negative to say about the movie. It's a fun little romp. It's nothing spectacular. It's not groundbreaking. It's not that memorable, really, like I'm going to remember it as a great comedy of all time. I wasn't rolling on the floor laughing. I had a few chuckles, and I pretty much had a smile on my face from beginning to end for the most part, bar one or two downer moments that didn't seem to work. And that's about it, in a nutshell. Just a fun movie. I recommend you check it out if you like a light-hearted comedy. If my wife enjoyed it for the most part as well. She was chuckling along for most of the movie. But like I said, most of the fun was had from just imagining the scenario that it was actually Anakin Skywalker and he somehow had come to Earth and become an Italian pizza shop worker. For some reason, we were just mining that scenario for little comedic anecdotes, and that added to the overall enjoyment level of this film for me and the wife. But we can both pretty much recommend it for someone who's looking for a nice rom-com to watch with their significant other, or even by themselves if they're in a bit of a downer mood. It's a kind of pick-me-up movie that might put a smile on your face, or it'll at least whet your appetite if you're getting ready for dinner soon, and this movie will put you right in the mood to have a nice big hefty meal, especially of the Italian variety. So check it out. I'd say it's worth a watch. It was cool to see Adam Ferrara as well. He was a comedian. He played one of the warring fathers, the father of Emma Roberts, and he was a comedian from the I guess early to mid 2000s that I was familiar with, and he was pretty funny back then. And his career I'd see him in bit roles here and there in TV shows or in movies. He'd either play cops or like fireman, or now a pizza shop owner. But it fits for him because he's Italian anyway. So yeah, and I got to mention the grandma of Emma Roberts, who has a romance, a secret tristy sort of romance with the grandfather of Hayden Christensen, which was kind of cool to see that mirroring their romance of the young kids as well at the same time. It was just like forbidden Romeo and Juliet type romance, with the warring families, and they had to meet in secret, the Capulets and the Montagues. But in this case, it was two pizza shop owners who hate each other because they had a stupid falling out over something trivial and stupid. But it was the grandma, the woman who played the grandma. I could swear, I should have IMDb'd it, but I was lazy at the time and I didn't. But just going off my hunch and intuition for movies and actors, I could swear she was also played a grandma or auntie in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. She's one of those women, she's just Mediterranean looking. She could play a Spaniard, an Italian, a Greek, a Lebanese, Middle Easterner, because, us Mediterraneans, we all pretty much look the same and can play the multiple roles. And she has that sort of everyday Southern European look. And so she played it well. I found her quite good in this movie, and also in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, if it's the same woman, and I'm like 99% sure it is. She's the one who kept insisting on giving everyone lamb in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. So she was good in that, she was good in this, and it was just nice to see. And the guy who played the grandfather, Danny Aiello, I swear I've seen that guy in a lot of Mafia Don movies. I think he played The Last Don, which is a Mafia series that was sort of, a Godfather clone, but I don't think it was ever at that level. I never even saw the whole thing, just bits and pieces here and there. But now I'm going off into movie trivia mode. So as I said, it's an overall enjoyable movie. It's a nice little love story with a few bits that sort of felt out of place and didn't work because they were trying to just be relevant for, the modern age, which I hate when movies do that. Just leave that shit out. Just tell a story. You don't have to cater to any demographic groups or any activist groups. Just tell your damn story. People will like it or not like it. But I like this movie for the most part. The most of the comedy worked, and damn, it was nice seeing that food in crystal clear HD. All right, and so check it out. One of the better little comedies on Netflix, because there's a lot of garbage floating around on there. And I guess I guess this is a spoiler review in a way, but I mean, we all know how these rom-coms work. They're all pretty damn predictable. You can spot a mile away what the conflict's going to be, and that there's going to be a resolution, obviously. Otherwise, it's not a rom-com. And the girl and the guy are going to fall in love in the end, but they've got to have some kind of rift in the middle of the movie that they've got to overcome. It always happens, and it's the same in this movie. So it's predictable in that sense. It's sort of a, cookie cutter, by the numbers, template style rom-com, but with the setting, with the actors, with the script for the most part, and the amazing HD food, it worked, and it was enjoyable. But what would I give it out of 10? I don't know, 7, a solid 7. And it's a bit better than the pack of the majority of the comedies out there, but not quite, anything to write home about, like some of the other, standout comedies of all time. It's not an all-timer, but it's a fun-timer. Anyway, I'll leave it there, folks, all right? Thanks for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Take care of yourselves. Be good. I guess may the force be with you, because Anakin's in this movie, and I'll see you later.